than you may have known. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting just to see that. Yeah, we have a lot of strong wrestlers coming out of Hawaii, and I have no doubt that that tradition will continue throughout the years as well. Sorry to say
Sure.
that the Olympics are postponed for another year, but I'm pretty sure there'll be quite a few Hawaiians that are going to be making a part of the women's team. Come 2021.
Right.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to say the least. I kind of wish there, I do. I've been catching up on my results for the past year in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of almost wish that there were more events that were based out of Hawaii. I know X1 does events every
Mm-hmm.
couple months as well, and the hope was that the UFC would actually do
I know.
do a thing as well. I mean, it's I think it'd help you guys out a lot in terms of starting to develop some of your amateurs, but
Right.
just to have that access as well. But I think you guys are making waves in terms of of the Pacific. You mentioned
Yeah.
Angela, who's up at One FC up in Singapore, and then now you are coming on the U.S. with a slew of gals that are here fighting as well. So it's great to be able to say the
Right.
least.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about the where you're trained, what gym you're trained at, and a little bit about some of your teammates.
I just train right now out of the UFC gym in town, and I have a good group of skilled teammates that we basically just come together and we collaborate and we work on things and we drill things, and I do some cross training from time to time with some of the other MMA gyms down here, like Hawaii Meet, and I did some cross training with Jesus is Lord before this previous fight, and but for the most part, it's just me and my teammates that we just work on the things that we feel are gonna, benefit us for the fight, and we kind of just cover all bases, cage work, wrestling days, striking, um, just trying to put it all together. I think it's kind of interesting how I don't necessarily have like a head coach anymore. Like I've done that before in my past, and it was great. But I like the freedom of being able to collaborate with my teammates and work on it and do stuff that are out of the box or do things that what would work for us. Because what would work for me wouldn't necessarily work for somebody else. So it's just a lot of communication that goes back and forth within our group of people, and I mean I love it. I have not had a head coach for quite some time now. I'm just a bunch of really knowledgeable teammates, and we get together, we put in the work. I've been around a lot of different systems and gyms throughout my years where I pick stuff that I want to work on. I know how to put myself through a fight camp, and we go through there, and we go from there. So it's been nice.
Well, with that in mind, I mean, how do you pick out a corner for when you're fighting? Because obviously you need
Well,
somebody in your corner.
this past fight, I had my manager and one of the other females that he manages. She's also a fighter, and she just cornered me. They looked up the footage on Tina, and I was looking up footage on her, and we went in with, a few things to, I flew in on Monday, they came in on Wednesday, and we just kind of put a strategy together, and she saw how I moved, they both saw how I moved, and went from there. So, I don't know, I'm one of those fighters where I can be comfortable with anybody who's knowledgeable in my corner, basically. I'm not, like, uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying? Sorry.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, that's just how I roll. I know some fighters, they need that continuity, they need that, and that's cool too, but, I mean, that's kind of been who I am. I can adjust to anyone in my corner, and I can make adjustments within the fight itself, because I mean, at the end of the day, that's what the fight is all about adjustments and, you know, like I said earlier, a human chess match. So with this past fight, I was blessed to have, you know, a fighter and my manager in my corner. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is interesting. I mean, this is, I guess, I guess the term, you know, best term I can think of off the top of my head is radical. You know, definitely different type of you know, kind of way of fighting. But you know, I think it's interesting. You know, I think a lot of fighters, I mean, you know, in the UFC do, you know, don't train at one gym. They'll cross train and bring in people. Off the top of my head, Cowboy comes to mind. You know, that's what he does. He brings people in. You know, and you know. Does if I if you want to, you know, if you're facing a striker, you want, you know, a left-handed striker, you bring in a left-handed striker. If if you're going to be facing a wrestler, you kind of bring somebody that knows counter wrestling, you know. So
sure.
So I'm pretty sure that's pretty much how you think pretty much is that, you know, that's how you prepare.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's a perfect one. Just
Did you do any?
Cowboy.
Yeah. Did you do any athletics? Any athletic thing before you did MMA?
Yeah, I started Taekwondo when I was 15, and that was the sport that I, you know, started off in. I got my black belt in that, and at one point I really was believing that I was gonna go into the Olympics, but then some injuries happened, and when I'm younger and you don't think rationally and like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world, I'm like injured, now what, da, 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 da. So I kind of just let that slip by. But I mean, yeah, Taekwondo was where that was a sport for sure. And, you know, yeah. I mean, I dabbled in a little bit of the boxing when I was younger, like really little bit. And, you know, just for playing around kind. And then the Taekwondo system that I was a part of, they had, like, you know, just for cardio and workout purposes, they had a kickboxing little program going on. So I did that. But yeah, so that's my foundation.
Yeah, I mean, you know, really, I mean, Taekwondo, you know, kind of gets a bad rap in MMA, although
Right.
I think that quite a few people are actually kind of turning the tide, especially Valerie Loranda, you know, over in Bellator. I mean, you know,
Sure.
I had interviewed her, and you know, I was talking a little bit about that, you know, like kind of the misperceptions. He says, well, my kind of Taekwondo isn't point style. It's actually meant for fighting. So you see really, you know, kind of how her striking is kind of almost,
Sure.
you know, just amazing to be able to watch. And she has some really, really awesome KO power behind herself. So, you know, has Taekwondo kind of translated over to MMA for you in terms of your striking?
I do. I mean, obviously, you've seen that hook kick that I like to throw in my fight, and I think just switching stances. I like to play both ways. I can fight left hand back, right hand back, and I think Taekwondo teaches that. We work both sides, and all of it hasn't fully translated, but some stuff you do take with you. I mean, you look at fighters like Rose Namajunas and Valentina Shevchenko. They come from a Taekwondo background, and then I believe you have that. What's his name? MVP in Bellator, Michael Venom, something like that.
Michael Venom Page, go ahead.
Yes, right. And he's, from what I hear, he's from a Taekwondo background as well. So it definitely does translate. You don't take everything in there because it's MMA, but a lot of the stuff as far as footwork and different feints and all that stuff, I feel has helped me in the cage, especially the footwork stuff. In Taekwondo, you need good footwork, so I think that translates pretty well too, as well as the switching stances and that stuff.
Has there been any nagging injuries now that we're kind of in a hiatus a little bit? Have you been nursing any of any nagging injuries?
Some a little bit, just small kind. The ones that were bothering me that I usually get worked on with my massage therapist, like my shoulders and what have you, but nothing too crazy. Stuff that I'm trying to upkeep on my own by just rolling it, using a roller to roll on it or a crossfall to like dig in there a little bit deeper and stuff. So, but nothing too crazy. Just mainly maintenance when it comes to that. Rolling, lots and lots of rolling.
Well, like I said, we're kind of in a stalemate here. We don't know when, things are going to open up again. Hopefully, relatively soon.
Yeah.
I know. Shannon had a card lined up for May, but that's been canceled because of what's been going on. So it'll be interesting to see where kind of everybody kind of stands once this is over. When events can start happening again and all that as well. So hopefully we'll be able to see you in that hunt in the bantamweight division as well. I mean, just been looking at what's been going on over the past couple of years. We've seen when the UFC introduced the flyweight division, basically almost more than half of the half of the ladies in the bantamweight division basically just went down to flyweight.
Right.
So they started draining out putting out their system, and I think a lot of the same thing happened with Invicta. We were seeing a lot of bantamweights to start out with, and now a lot of them have dropped down to flyweight. So hopefully we're going to have a resurgence.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Hopefully we're going to have a resurgence of bantamweights coming into Invicta. I think that was what the hope was with that Phoenix Series tournament, is to start developing that bantamweight division once again. So I'm hoping that we see a lot more bantamweights. Just looking at some of the stats that I've been compiling over the past couple months. Through looking at results from 2019, there's a lot of amateurs that are at 145. So I won't be surprised if they decide to turn pro to go down to 135. So hopefully those numbers will grow stronger coming 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully you'll have a little bit more opponents. But fingers crossed we get through this and you get back to fighting as well. Anything else you want to add?
No. I mean, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you for having me on your podcast. And I always look forward to podcasts and just being able to talk story and hopefully inspire others, in whatever small way that we can. And it's because of people like you that, we have the opportunity to do so. So, yeah.
Yeah, I want to mention at Monica Franco MMA on Twitter, and then is it the same thing on Instagram?
No, it's at Fearless Monica Franco on IG.
Okay. So you guys definitely check that out as well. Monica, thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon. Like I said, hopefully you stay safe, and we'll hopefully you'll be able to fight this year, and hopefully I'll be able to go and see you fight at some point. I know that Invicta's been talking about coming out here to Vegas to do a couple of shows over at the Apex. So I won't be surprised if that ends up being the case. It's a lot better flight for you. I'm pretty sure of it.
Sure.
And a lot of Hawaiians out here in Vegas too. So you'll have a lot of you'll have a huge cheering section if we come out here.
Yeah, that'll be major.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot. Yeah, well, thanks a lot, Monica, for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, stay safe.